Hello, I'm Pastor Dave McAwee, and here's your Monday morning recap for October 12th, 2020. Here we go. We're continuing our tie-ins to the book of Daniel as we work through the Daniel Bible study. And this week, we're looking at really what happens when others do not like our faith, as what happened with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the book of Daniel. Now, it's all too easy to contrast our experience with theirs. We can easily contrast it because our experience isn't much like theirs. They faced a persecution we ourselves have not faced in quite some time and may never face. But in many ways, our experience is more like the first Gentiles who joined the church. People who never experienced persecution until suddenly it came upon them when they came to Christ. Like them, we are not used to persecution due to our faith. We're just not used to it. And to be frank, it's unlikely to happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's unlikely. It's unlikely we will face persecution like we can see in the book of Daniel. We are unlikely to face execution because of our faith. It's possible, but unlikely. But we will face a different type of persecution. What we will face is not something that normally seems bad, but it is something that we will encounter. We will face public ridicule for keeping our faith. This comes in a variety of forms. It can come in entertainment. It can come from people we know. It can come from famous people we never met. It could come from someone at the store. It's something that's already happening. Just little comments here and there that denigrate the faith. And it's something that happens repeatedly, and you can see it in the news today. But persecution can also come in the form of pressure to change belief. Now, this is different from what we heard last week, where we adapt how we operate to meet the changing expectations of the world. We don't change what we believe, but we change how we present it. This is different. This comes from outside. This comes in a way where we're encouraged to change what we actually believe to meet others' expectations. People who may or may not have ever be part of the faith or have any desire to ever be a part of one. It can come from people who have a sense that they are entitled to something, whether they actually want it or not, or need it or not. Some, just because they expect that we will do something, that we will serve others in a certain way. This is something that can come very suddenly. It's something that can develop slowly over time to the point we don't really realize it's happening until it's right in front of us. This doesn't come from an area of faith or discernment over what we truly believe or what God's true intention is. But it comes from the outside. It comes from others. But in many ways, the persecution will take a new form, a softer form. Oftentimes when we think of persecution, we think of something that is hard, something drastic, something that's an actual risk, but in many ways what we're facing isn't something that's going to cost us our lives. But yet it still happens. It's still out there. We're still encountering it from time to time. Sometimes we're encountering it daily, whether we realize it or not. So what do we do in these situations? What do we do when God wants us to live a certain way and we face opposition for it? Ultimately, there's only one thing we can do, and it's the same that the faithful have done for years, and that is we need to give God control. It's not easy to do, and oftentimes by the time we're ready to do it, it's already a chaotic situation. But that is what we need to do. That is what the faithful response is, whether it's a hard persecution or not, is to give the control to God. So that's your recap for this week. Wednesday night, we will have the Bible study in person at 7 o'clock, or we'll live stream it on Facebook. It'll be available afterwards as well. But until next Sunday, I'm Pastor Dave, and I will see you in the pews.